Prince Charles and Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall, emerging from the plane in Halifax.
Tension inside the royal household is not a new story, but this time it exploded in a way no one saw coming. Prince William was reportedly furious, and his anger wasn't aimed at just anyone. It was directed at Queen Camilla, the woman who seems to always be at the center of royal scandals. Insiders revealed Camilla demanded that Catherine hand over a priceless royal tiara. Catherine didn't want to give up the tiara, but she did. Then when William found out, he did something no one expected. Want to know exactly what William did? Stick with us to find out. Camilla forces Catherine to give up her tiara. No one expected Prince William to raise his voice at Camilla or exchange sharp words with her, yet that was exactly what took place inside Buckingham Palace 2 days ago, and the entire royal household has not stopped whispering about it. Prince William had traveled to Singapore for the Earthshot prize duties, as his royal role required, especially since King Charles was occupied with other state matters and private engagements. William represented his father abroad and left his family at Adelaide Cottage. They were safe, or so he believed, but he never expected that in his absence, Camilla would press in on his family and corner his wife into a decision she did not want to make. Insiders reveal that Catherine was preparing for a high-profile charity gala at the palace and wanted to appear elegant in a simple yet polished white gown. However, the nature of the occasion demanded a sharper, more formal look, so she chose to wear a royal tiara. An insider reported that she and William joked over the phone about which tiara she should wear, and he suggested Queen Mary's diamond bandeau. This was one of Queen Elizabeth II's most sacred and historic tiaras. The Queen Mary Diamond Bandeau Tiara was crafted in 1932 and set with 11 brilliant cut diamonds. It became widely recognized after Meghan Markle wore it on her wedding day. Ordinarily, no one would expect Catherine to pick a tiara so publicly associated with Meghan, given that she prefers to avoid comparisons and unwanted headlines. Yet she chose it simply because she felt it matched her gown beautifully. Catherine admired her reflection while wearing the tiara in front of the children and the household staff, who all agreed she looked radiant. But no one knew trouble was quietly lurking around the corridors. That same day, Camilla arrived at the royal vault to request the Queen Mary Diamond Bandeau. Staff informed her that Catherine had already taken it. Camilla was displeased and insisted on having the tiara. The staff gave the sand explanation, but Camilla wasn't paying attention. No one could understand why she wanted that particular piece when other timeless tiaras were available for her to choose from. She tried a few alternatives, yet none achieved the look she wanted, so she walked out of the vault unsatisfied. The staff had assumed she would simply choose another tiara or attend without one, but a queen consort cannot appear bareheaded at a formal royal function attended by international dignitaries. Camilla left Buckingham Palace shortly after 3 in the afternoon and headed straight for Kensington Palace, the home of the Prince and Princess of Wales. When the maid opened the door, she was startled to see Camilla standing there. Camilla rarely visited them unless accompanied by King Charles, and even those moments were occasional and formal. Catherine was called, and she came forward, greeting politely. "Queen Camilla, what a surprise!" Camilla nodded and apologized if she was interrupting anything, as she came unannounced. Catherine, poised, assured her it was no disturbance as she sat down. Catherine asked the staff to offer Camilla tea or something light, but Camilla declined and explained she had not come for refreshment. She had come for the Queen Mary Diamond Bandeau Tiara. Catherine was taken aback by Camilla's request. Camilla continued, saying she wished to wear it for the upcoming state banquet, only to be told that Catherine had taken it. Catherine listened to her and replied softly yet firmly that she had chosen the tiara first and wanted to wear it. This was why she collected it from the vault. Catherine gently suggested Camilla choose another piece, since there were many others available to her. Camilla stated she was aware of the options, but insisted that the only tiara she wanted was the Mary Diamond Bandeau. The insistence was strange and unsettling. It was almost like she had made up her mind to have the tiara at all costs. In the long history of the monarchy, There had never been a dispute over a tiara, not when the vault held more than enough jewels to satisfy every royal preference. From the Delhi Durbar tiara to the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, the Greville tiara, the Strathmore rose, and several others. Camilla could have selected any of them, yet she demanded the very one Catherine had already chosen. The household staff listened from the corridor, so quiet that breath could be heard between the pauses. Catherine stood steady, unchanged in tone, perfectly respectful as she told Catherine she couldn't give her. But what followed next stunned the room. Camilla leaned forward slightly, her voice low but sharp enough to cut through the silence, and what she said forced everyone who overheard to freeze. "I do not wish to force you, but since you refuse, I will exercise my authority as Queen Consort. I need the tiara more than you do. I am Queen Consort Camilla Rose," reminding Catherine that she was senior in rank as the wife of King Charles. Catherine could not make sense of such insistence, but she didn't want any drama. Catherine sighed, stepped away, and went to her room. Camilla sat rigid, eyes fixed forward, not caring about what she had done. A few seconds later, Catherine returned and placed the tiara in Camilla's hands. Camilla smiled and thanked her, adding that Catherine would be remembered for showing proper respect. After Camilla left, Princess Charlotte and Prince George came to Catherine and asked why she had given up the tiara, as they had overheard the whole conversation. Catherine responded that she had to respect an elder royal, but this was far from respect. This was bullying. Camilla had bullied Catherine to have the tiara. Catherine moved on with her day, determined not to dwell on a tiara. Yet she felt wounded and chose not to attend the event, informing staff she was unwell. But Catherine was not unwell. Word on Camilla's actions eventually reached William through the children. He called Catherine, but she asked him not to make a spectacle of it. That did little. William was furious. How could Camilla exert authority over his wife and pressure her into giving up the tiara she planned to wear? Charles would not allow such treatment. He got mad over the phone, but Catherine calmed him down. Photos of Camilla at the royal event soon filled the papers. She was praised for elegance and the shine of the bandeau. But those in Kensington Palace knew she had forced her way to get the tiara. But the story doesn't end here. The undeserving queen. When William returned from Scotland, he went straight to Camilla and confronted her for what she did to Catherine. He spoke loudly to the hearing of everyone and ignored his father's pleas to calm down. Catherine was shocked to hear Charles raise his voice and call her overbearing, saying she had no right to bully Catherine. He reminded her she owed her position to circumstance, and age would have never sat on the throne beside his father, if not because of how she had pushed her way by ruining his mother's marriage. King Charles asked William to stop as he was going too far, but he refused. Insiders reported that William told Camilla she was not a queen and would always be the other woman who ruined his parents' marriage. A mistress. Camilla reportedly raised her hand as if to strike him, but restrained herself. King Charles demanded that William apologize, but William turned and walked out on his father. Camilla broke down in tears, turning the moment into an emotional scene, saying, "You heard your son. You see how he feels about me." But those present said her tears looked forced. Yet wasn't that what many still called her, a mistress who never truly belonged on the throne? Camilla never deserved to be Queen Consort of England, yet she was the one crowned beside King Charles. It wasn't because she earned it or was born for it. She fought her way into the royal circle and held on tightly to the place she now occupies. Still, to many, she remains the woman who destroyed Diana's fairy tale marriage. Especially to Diana's sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, who never forgot what their mother went through because of Camilla's presence in their parents' marriage. Even though William had tolerated her all along, he wasn't going to let her bully his wife and take what belonged to Catherine, like she did to his mother, Diana. But to truly understand why William called Camilla a mistress, we have to go back to when it all began. Before Camilla married King Charles, she was indeed his mistress. Camilla was born on July 17, 1947, in London, and raised in Sussex with her parents, Bruce and Rosalind Shand, and her two younger siblings. Her father, a decorated officer, later served as Vice Lord Lieutenant of East Sussex. Camilla grew up privileged but outside royal circles, though her great-grandmother, Alice Keppel, had famously been the mistress of King Edward VII. Camilla often mentioned this connection proudly to her friends. Perhaps that history played a role in what followed, as Camilla too became Charles' mistress for some time. However, she refused to remain a mistress and worked her way up until she became a wife, and later Queen Consort. Camilla met Charles after returning to London as a debutante. He wasn't her first love. She had been dating Andrew Parker Bowles, who was then serving in the army. With Andrew away, Camilla and Charles had time to grow closer. Their first meeting was in 1970 at a polo match. They clicked instantly, laughing and talking as if they had known each other forever. Soon, they became lovers, but distance soon interfered again when Charles left to focus on his naval career abroad.
After talking with Admiral Sir Horace Law, Commander-in-Chief, Naval Home Command, Prince Charles entered the college building to be shown around.
They kept in touch through letters and phone calls, but the distance created space between them, and when Andrew returned to London, he and Camilla rekindled their relationship. A few months later, Andrew proposed, and Camilla accepted, though her heart was still tied to Charles. She continued writing to him, sending letters filled with affection. In July 1973, Camilla married Andrew Parker Bowles. Charles was heartbroken when he heard the news, but he and Camilla continued their relationship as close friends. Charles even became godfather to Camilla's first child, Tom Parker Bowles. This showed the strength of their bond. Over time, Charles eventually met his own lover, Lady Diana Spencer. Diana and Charles first met when he visited the Spencer family home to see her sister, Lady Sarah Spencer, whom he was dating at the time. Diana and Charles crossed paths again and again, though they barely exchanged more than polite words until 1979, when Charles lost his beloved great-uncle and mentor, Lord Louis Mountbatten, to an IRA bomb.
Only too well feeling deeply angered when my great-uncle Lord Mountbatten and other relations of mine were blown into small pieces 19 years ago.
Diana expressed sympathy and comforted him in a quiet, sincere way, and he noticed her for the first time with new eyes. From there, they grew closer. They spent time together talking, fishing, and sharing calm moments away from the world. Diana also visited Balmoral more often. The media took notice, and soon headlines linked them. To avoid a growing storm of gossip, Prince Philip urged his son to make a choice, and Charles proposed. Diana accepted him happily as she couldn't wait to be a member of the royal family. But things took an unexpected turn. While everything looked perfect between Diana and Camilla, beneath the surface, things were already complicated, as Charles and Camilla still shared a deep emotional bond and were romantically involved. Camilla's marriage was strained as Andrew Parker Bowles had his own affairs, and Charles became her confidant again. They slipped into moments that crossed lines, right up until Charles married Diana. After the wedding, the affair paused. Charles focused on his new bride, and Camilla tried to repair her marriage, but things didn't work out. Not long after Prince Harry's birth in 1984, Charles and Camilla rekindled their relationship. This was because Charles and Diana were also dealing with their marital issues. Diana had become the world's fascination, the star wherever she appeared. The media and people turned their attention to her as though Charles didn't exist. Charles, who had long enjoyed attention, struggled with the shift, and it caused a crack between them slowly. Following Harry's birth, Diana battled postpartum depression, and instead of Charles supporting her, he drifted toward Camilla. He spent more time away, telling Diana he was occupied with royal duties, while Camilla remained married to Andrew. Diana found herself alone in a palace full of people, with no one she felt safe turning to. Pain turned inward. She began harming herself in secret, convinced no one cared enough to notice. Next, she started hearing rumors of Charles and Camilla's relationship. At first, Diana refused to believe them, until one day she overheard Charles speaking softly to Camilla on the phone, saying he could not cope with Diana's emotional struggles, and ended the call telling Camilla he loved her. Diana stood frozen. Realizing her husband was cheating on her, fear followed. She knew the royal family held power that could ruin her life and even threaten her access to her children. Anxiety deepened into depression, and soon she developed an eating disorder called bulimia. However, insiders within the palace dismissed it as attention-seeking, but they never realized the truth behind the illness was the pain and betrayal of coping with a cheating husband. Even when Charles knew Diana had discovered the truth, he continued seeing Camilla. He cared less and came home less. Diana watched her marriage crumble in front of her. However, she didn't just fold her hands, as she revealed that she had once begged Camilla to stay away from her husband, hoping to save what was left of her home. But Camilla did not listen. She held on, and in the end, Diana walked away rather than stay in a life that broke her spirit. However, Diana did not leave quietly, not without fighting for her dignity and her sons. Diana, the deserving queen consort. If Diana were alive today and still married to Charles, she would have been the most beloved queen consort in British history. Her life was cut short, and many still believe she never received fairness or protection from those who should have valued her. After Diana discovered her husband's affair, she decided she would not suffer in silence. She wanted the world to know her true story, so she secretly worked with Andrew Morton on the book, Diana, Her True Story, revealing her emotional battles inside the royal family and confirming Charles's relationship with Camilla. However, Morton could not openly label them lovers, so he called them close friends. The book shook the monarchy and made global headlines. The palace questioned Diana, and she denied involvement, though they suspected she lied. The book's release led to her separation from Charles.
Of Charles and Diana, the divorce of all the...
This made Charles and Camilla spend more time together as though they were married, while Diana focused on her son, Harry, and William, and also her charity work. As Charles and Camilla enjoyed themselves together, they got themselves into a mess that almost ruined them. In 1993, the infamous Tampongate scandal broke. This was a recorded phone call conversation where Charles told Camilla he wished to live inside her trousers as a tampon. The public was shocked by the details of the conversation, and the royal family faced intense criticism. The Queen was mad at Charles and frowned at the relationship with Camilla, but Charles didn't let go of Camilla. In 1994, Charles gave a television interview admitting he had been unfaithful to Diana, claiming he only strayed after their marriage had irretrievably broken down. His confession wasn't well accepted by the public. Instead, the public sympathized more with Diana. In 1995, Diana delivered her famous BBC Panorama interview with Martin Bashir. For the first time, she spoke openly about her suffering and betrayal. Her infamous line, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded."
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
Confirmed what many already believed, that Camilla Parker Bowles had been the 3rd person in her marriage and the reason her marriage broke down. People saw Diana's pain and realized she had tried to fight for her marriage, but Camilla's continued presence made peace impossible. Diana also admitted helping Andrew Morton, saying she needed her voice to be heard, and she wanted people to know the truth behind the illusion of a perfect royal union. Camilla's reputation collapsed. She was seen as the woman who destroyed a marriage and a princess's happiness. She became one of the most disliked public figures in Britain in the mid-1990s. Soon after the interview, the divorce became unavoidable. Diana and Charles officially divorced in 1996. Diana later began a relationship with Dodi Fayed, the son of Egyptian businessman Mohammed Al-Fayed. She looked more free and hopeful than she had in years. But on August 31st, 1997, Diana died in a tragic car crash in Paris. Millions of people mourned Diana. She was the beloved people's princess who carried ordinary people in her heart and brought the monarchy closer to them in a real and human way. Diana's death did not end Charles and Camilla's relationship. They continued dating even though Queen Elizabeth disapproved and refused to attend any event where Camilla appeared. Yet 8 years later, in 2005, Charles and Camilla got married with the Queen's blessing. Many frowned at this decision because the world had not forgotten Diana, But Camilla made sure she worked her way to the top of the monarchy by ensuring the media focused on positive stories about her, like her charity work, literacy causes, domestic abuse awareness projects, and public duties. All these efforts tried to place her in a positive light with the public. Camilla also worked hard as the Duchess of Cornwall. This helped her rise as one of the most dutiful royals. Over time, many began to forget Camilla's past and how she became part of the royal family, as she played her cards well. Camilla reshaped her image, moving from being seen as the other woman to a dutiful royal, making many overlook the scandals she once brought into the monarchy. In February 2022, during Queen Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilee, marking 70 years on the throne, the Queen publicly expressed her wish that Camilla should be known as Queen Consort when Charles became king. This shocked many because Queen Elizabeth had once referred to Camilla as that wicked woman. But in her final years, the Queen embraced Camilla as Charles's wife and named her Queen Consort, not Princess Consort as originally planned. However, after the coronation with Charles at Westminster Abbey on May 6, 2023, Camilla has continued trying to be seen as a respected queen beside him, yet she has repeatedly found herself at the center of criticism and backlash. Her actions, public behavior, and lingering controversies have often reminded people of her past as the other woman, the woman many believe helped break Diana's spirit and marriage. Many insiders believe Camilla is still trying to cement her power and make William and Catherine understand that she remains in control of the monarchy's inner circle. This is likely why she acted the way she did, forcing Catherine to hand over the Mary Diamond Bandeau tiara. Interestingly, this tiara has always been tied to drama. In 2018, the Mary Diamond Bandeau tiara reappeared after 65 years at Prince Harry's wedding. It resurfaced on Meghan Markle's head, but not without controversy. A few days before Meghan's wedding, her hairdresser, Serge Normant, asked for access to the tiara for a proper hair trial. Requests were made, yet no response came. The silence made Harry and Meghan feel the palace staff were deliberately ignoring them. This led them to approach Angela Kelly, the keeper of the Queen's jewels, at the royal vault. The conversation did not go well. Harry raised his voice, believing they were being disrespected because of Meghan's skin color. There was reportedly a heated conversation that led to arguments, which forced Queen Elizabeth to step in. Although Meghan eventually received the tiara, the moment came with Harry furious at the palace staff. Similarly, Camilla insisted on taking the tiara from Catherine, and this time, William was reportedly angered as well, feeling his wife's position and dignity were undermined. What do you think of Camilla using her power as Queen Consort to force Catherine to hand over a royal tiara? Do you think Catherine made the right decision by giving her? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the following video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.